Locked on Syracuse, I'm Jackson Holzer. That's Neil Adler from Inside the Loud House. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me here on Locked on Syracuse today. Let's go over the expectations now for Syracuse. And Neil, I'll just ask you point blank. What is your expectation for this team this season?
My expectation and my hope is that Syracuse gets back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2021. That's it. I mean, beyond that, obviously, I want them to go on a deep run and contend for an ACC title. But the most important thing, you mentioned being watchable. I would also add in, even when they lose games, because I don't think they're going undefeated, but when they lose games against good teams, they're competitive. They don't lose to teams they shouldn't lose to. Get to the NCAA tournament, top 6 ACC, win a couple games, Sweet 16. I mean, you know, I'm just throwing pie in the sky, but yeah, like 20 plus wins in the regular season. I actually had a piece just coincidentally this morning on Inside the Loud House, which I'm sure a lot of people will tell me I'm a moron, but you know, I just projected their record. It was literally just win-loss when it wasn't like this big analysis.
Yep.
And I had them at 22-9 in the regular season. Fair
enough. And that hopefully is deemed good enough by the committee. We just don't know at this point of the season.
You don't know.
You know, you never know. And it also, you go 22-9, but you don't know how it's going to impact the net ranking. Sure. A lot of it is due to margin of victory. How you honestly do against the spread every single time you play is also something that style points matter in college sports. So you can go 22-9, but if you win all your games by 1 point and you lose all your games by 30 points, the committee might say, yeah, you went 22-9, but we're going to let in the 20-11 team instead. You just never know.
That 20-11 team had better wins, you know, against tougher teams on neutral sites, on the road, et cetera, et cetera. I would think Syracuse's schedule isn't, at least on paper, it's not like murderer's row, but there's some challenging games in there. But I would hope that if they were at 22-9 in the regular season, they'd get in. Oh, my other expectation or my other hope, Jackson, and then you give me yours. Can we please, and I say we, can my alma mater please win more than one game in the ACC tournament? Because I'm pretty sure, and you know I love Syracuse.
That's a big ask.
But I'm pretty sure that since they joined in 13-14, they've never won more than one game. Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong.
I don't think I'm wrong. I would admit it if I was, but I don't think I am. So,
I mean, hey, if you're listening, if you're watching right now, feel free to comment in the comments.
Tell me that I'm stupid.
If we are wrong, if we are stupid, it has Syracuse basketball ever won more than one game in the ACC tournament. No, we're not talking about the Big East.
I don't.
We're talking about the ACC.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know if they've never even made the semifinals.
No,
even when they were good, even when they were good in making the tournament, they never even made it that far.
True. Yeah, I mean, and I feel like if you like are really high up, you get a double bye, and that would put you in the quarters right away. And then, so technically, if you won one game, you would get to the semis. But the only time they did that was 13-14. They were second in the league. They were 14-4 in the league. Second overall, but they lost their first game, and I want to say it was to NC State. I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
But they didn't get to the semi. Yeah.
Either way, they didn't win. They didn't win that game.
They didn't win. Yeah.
They didn't make the semifinal.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. So
yeah.
So what you got?
So my expectation is solely based on the fact that Syracuse basketball this year doesn't have a choice, and that is they have to make the NCAA tournament. So that's my expectation.
Fair.
You might be asking yourself, or you might be asking right now, you know, why is it your expectation? Why the NCAA tournament? Why does it matter? And beyond just the fact that, hey, it's about the team winning games, it's also because this coaching staff is entering year 3. And last year was the worst year in nearly 6 decades of Syracuse basketball in terms of win-loss record. I'm not fully convinced that there is a tournament mandate on this staff, but just reading between the lines and hearing what John Wildhack, the athletic director, has had to say, it does seem like if things go sideways this year, it's going to be bad for the staff. And who knows beyond that point, what's going to happen with the players, what happens with recruiting. Syracuse still hasn't landed anyone at this moment in its 2026 recruiting class. So with all that being said, the expectation and the hope has to be the NCAA tournament. And beyond that, it's too early to forecast.
Yeah, exactly.
You could be a 3 seed and entering the tournament. And I think we'd all sign for that. Actually, everyone here would probably sign for that right now. especially what the tournament drought that has been going on with Syracuse.
Free seed? Yes,
yeah,
please.
3 seed, of course. But my point is, you can be.
I'm down with an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, but you could be a 3 seed. You could be fantastic. You can go, 26-5 or whatever like that. You can win the ACC tournament, and you can lose right away in the NCAA tournament because one team gets a hot shooting night. So
Dayton in the 2014 tournament, they were a 3. They kind of faltered down the stretch, but they started out 25-0, and then they couldn't hit a 3-pointer against Dayton and lost by 2. I get it. See, in that scenario, Jackson, if they flamed down the tournament but had an awesome regular season and it was just a bad matchup and stuff happens in the tournament, I'd still consider that a successful year. At
this very moment,
and Boeheim might not, because what you do in the tournament is the only thing that matters. I think what you do in the tournament is extremely important, but I think you have to look at the larger context. I do. Yeah.
I think it's all about taking steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
And proving that.
Baby steps, yeah.
Unlike last year, the reason why I say, hey, it's, well, hopefully that never happens if they're a 3 seed and they lose to a 14 in round 1 this year.
Sure.
But beyond that, like, let's say they are a 10 seed and they lose in the first round. Or maybe they win a tournament game and they lose in the round of 32, whatever it is. The reason why I consider that right now a successful year is because you look at the players on the roster, all of them, I believe, except for JJ Starling, have another year of eligibility beyond just this season. So you could theoretically, and I know we live in this day and age of the transfer portal and players can come and go as they please, but technically you could have most, if not all, of the roster return for another year. You won't have JJ Starling in 2026-27, but hey, he commands a big NIL paycheck. I'm sure he's not going to be with the team anymore. That's money freed up to go get someone else in the offseason. And there are always going to be players available in the transfer portal. We see it every year. We see some mega stars in college basketball enter it. Whether or not they stay in it, whether or not they go into the draft is one thing. But you see big time players every year enter the portal. So I'm not necessarily worried about finding a JJ Starling replacement. They'll find a replacement for JJ Starling. It might even be internal because Kyan Anthony plays the same position. Maybe you move over Nate Kings. Nate Kings is the other one who I don't believe has eligibility beyond
so since you brought this up, I'm like, all right, let me just make sure I don't say anything stupid, which I usually do. Nate Kings is a redshirt senior and William Kyle is a senior because he was a junior last year. But I don't know if I'd have to go back and check. I don't know if he had, for some reason, I thought maybe he had 2 years left, but I'm not sure. But anyway, your point is well taken. A lot of their guys could come back.
George, Donnie Freeman. We'll see what happens with Donnie if he has a big year or not. He's a very important player, obviously, for Syracuse. But you got Kyan Anthony, you got Sadiq White, you got the freshman as well, and Luke Fennell. And remind me of the final one again. I'm blanking.
Sheffing Diawara.
Yes, him as well. So you got plenty of guys with eligibility beyond this season. If the first step is the young guys make progress and they make the NCAA tournament, so be it. So that is my expectation for Syracuse basketball. Neil, expectation is also make the NCAA tournament because, quite frankly, this team this year does not have a choice.